All right, 6:30 having arrived. We will officially call the meeting to order. Is the meeting been properly posted and the roll been taken?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 2 is Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 3 is approval of minutes. Minutes of the September 22nd, 2022. No additions or corrections. Let's go ahead and entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 4 are communications. Communications this evening. Item number 5 are public comments. All I would ask are citizens who wish to address the chair at this portion of the meeting, please limit your comments to items on this evening's agenda for once and not more than 3 minutes. If there's anyone that wishes to speak publicly, would be a good time. Hearing none, then we would move on to item number 6, which are reports of committees, boards, commissions, and the Delavan Darien School District. 6.1 are the Finance Committee and the Financial Report. Alderwoman Deshler Grant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Finance Committee met on October 11th at 5 o'clock. Next meeting will be on November 1st at 5. There are a number of items on tonight's agenda. The minutes of the meeting are on file with the city clerk for public inspection. At this time, I would make a motion to approve the financial report.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 6.2 is general operations. Alderman Wilson.
Thank you, Mayor. General operations met Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. EMS mutual aid was discussed. There are 3 items that the common council will be voting on later on this evening. The next GOC will be held on November 1st, 2022 at 5 o'clock.
Alderman Wilson. Item 6.3 is the Planning Commission. Alderman Beezer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Planning Commission met on Monday, October 3rd. There's a number of items for review on tonight's agenda. And the next meeting will be on November 7th at 5 p.m. The minutes are on file for public inspection. If anybody has a desire to review them, they're with the city clerk. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Beezer. Item 6.4 is the Public Works Committee. Alderwoman Deshler Grant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Public Works Committee met on September 27th at 5:30. There's some items that were covered that will be discussed tonight are the Finance Committee, and the October meeting has been canceled due to a lack of agenda items.
Thank you, Alderwoman Deshler Grant. Item 6.5 is the Town of Delavan Lake Committee. Alderman Beezer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Town of Delavan Lake Committee met. They worked on some of the issues pertaining to the dredging project. The dredging project will be temporarily shut down during the winter. It is in the process of being winterized, and it will begin operations in either the spring, I believe it will be May. There's some discussion with the DNR to determine whether or not that could take place, or at the very latest, July 1st. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Beezer. Item 6.6 is the Library Board of Trustees. Alderwoman Deshler Grant.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Library Board of Trustees met on October 20th at 5:30. Updates were given on donations for the new library build, and our next meeting is November 17th at 5:30.
Thank you, Alderwoman Deshler Grant. Item 6.7 is Park and Recreation Commission. Alderman Purcell. I know we're going to give that update. He wasn't able to be here this evening. So I think we have an update other than announcing that they did meet on September 28th. 26th, and the next meeting is scheduled for Monday, October 24th. With that, we'll move on to item 6.8 is the Communications Commission. Alderman Solis.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. We were able to meet. We didn't have quorum, but we met on September 21st. We had a presentation from Stream Dudes. They introduced us to some cameras and some live stream programs, and they did a presentation. They sent us some information about it. Currently, something that we need to review and take a look at. We didn't have a quorum, but there was a committee member there. We were able to at least get the presentation from Stream Dudes.
Thank you, Alderman Solis. Item 6.9 is the Delavan Downtown Project Management Team. Alderwoman Destrom Brand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The downtown project management team did not meet last month. Our next meeting will be on Thursday, October 27th at 5:30.
Thank you, Alderwoman Destrom Brand. Item 6.10 is the Delaware Golf Commission. Again, Alderman Purcell would usually give this update. I know they did meet on September 22nd, and their next meeting is scheduled for this Thursday at 5 p.m. here at City Hall. Item 6.11 is the Tourism Commission. Alderman Solis.
I wasn't able to attend the meeting, Mr. Mayor, so I don't have anything to report on the tourism.
Did you want to highlight it? Some basic stuff? Put me on the spot.
I'm trying to remember what happened that day.
I know their next
We
week.
discussed the status of a couple of grants that are out. Got the final reports of the grant for the Rotary Artisan Fair and
The car show too. There was some.
we got a report on that. I don't know that they've got their final report yet to us. The other part was they still need to approve their budget for next year, and we'll be doing that at the next tourism meeting.
And the next meeting is Monday, November 14th. Item 6.12 is Delavan Darien School District update. So
Good evening, everyone. So tonight I gave you a handout regarding the upcoming referendum on November 8th. So tonight I'm just going to share a little bit about that. It's outlined also in your handout. But then in addition to that, take any questions that you may have, because I think it's important for our community to be informed when they go to the ballot booth on the 8th. So again, this is an operational referendum similar to what we passed in November of 2018. That was a 4-year referendum that will expire at the end of this calendar school year for us. And so this is basically an add-on or a continuation from what we passed in November of 2018. So this will carry us through from the 23-24 school year to the 26-27 school year. Obviously the reason we're having to do this is because the state has only given us, out of the 6 years of funding, they've only given us 2 years of anything on top of the revenue cap. And specifically, our state legislators are stating that the only way that they're going to give us funding is if we go to the taxpayers to ask for it. So like everyone, we've been seeing a rise in costs. So of course we had to raise our costs that we are seeing and ask the taxpayers for these new funds. It certainly is not something that we like to do and go out and ask for referendum, but it's obviously essential. You may recall that in April of 2018, when the previous referendum failed by my predecessor, we had to lay off 39 teachers and 10 support staff. It's something that we never want to do again in the history of this district. It was trying times. And as I met with the teachers on Friday, I did share with them that I know that everyone has butterflies in their stomach regarding where November 8th will land us again. And I am telling them that we will be okay, but I don't want to go back to the taxpayers again in April to have to ask for the same thing again, to do a better job at doing my job of sharing out and informing people of our why. The state does not give us much more than what is the limited amount per pupil. So our monies that we earn is by per pupil head count. The state has the minimum amount of $10,000 per pupil. The district gets $10,026.51. So basically, we receive $26.51 more than what the state has set for the minimum amount. Other districts in our area receive more than that per pupil. And that is based on the Act 10 in 2010, when that was set up, where some communities were more conservative in what they asked and other communities were higher. So the Delavan Darien School District was lower in their amount that they asked. And so that cap was set back in 2010. And since then, we've been struggling to just continue the programs that we need to educate our children in our community. So our goal is to do the following. It is to continue to provide security by employing school resource officers. It is to maintain current program offerings, to continue to offer small class sizes, and that would be through employment of our teachers, and remain competitive with the shrinking employment market. It's getting harder and harder to find people in all areas of teaching. It used to be that you would get 300 applicants for a general education teacher. Today, you're lucky to get 10. In specialists, I've been looking for a bilingual reading specialist for over a year now. I finally got my first applicant. She works in Waukesha. She makes $90,000 a year up in Waukesha. I can't offer her $90,000, but I'm going to hope that she'll come here. That's what I'm saying. We have to try to remain competitive to get the staffing we need to serve our students. It's challenging in these times. So that's why we're coming to the taxpayers, to ask for more and ask for money. It is what it is. This is how the state legislators set it up. And this is what we have to do to continue to provide the best services and best education that we can for our students. So questions?
Yeah, just some clarity.
Certainly.
The state legislators are collecting tax revenue from everybody through the city. Just so, correct me if I'm wrong in any of this. That gets passed through the city and it's sent up to the state. And then it is redistributed and sent back to municipalities and the school districts. That's the current process. So right now, everybody is being taxed and the state is collecting that. And the legislators have blocked sending that back to the municipalities and the school districts. This is something that we're dealing with from the city level and we're dealing with from the school level. We aren't looking to raise taxes. The school is not looking to raise taxes. But we cannot continue to operate when the state does not give back what we've already paid in. Right now, the state is sitting on a huge surplus, and it is still not giving that back. The legislators are the ones that are keeping that from happening, and it needs to end. Because the people that are being punished are the everyday citizens that live in our community.
Thank
Is
you.
any of that wrong?
Thank you, Alderman Beezer. You are correct in the sense that the school district receives funding from the state. So the levy that we will set here at the end of the month is always based on that $10,026.51. We're not allowed to go over that amount in our levy unless we have it through a referendum, because the state has determined back in 2010 what that amount is. So we're just asking right now for the state to increase that revenue limit for us from the $10,026.51 and eat more of the share, so to say, or at least allow for us to raise that to be more equitable for what services we need to provide, and to then allow for that equal portion to balance out between what does the state pay and what do our local taxpayers pay. And last year, you may recall that the state gave more to education in the revenue limit. So in other words, it gave a break to the local taxpayer. However, it didn't increase our revenue limit. So keep that in mind. That's tricky, and education funding is tricky. So what they did was they said, here's your $10,026.51. The state will give this much to get to that level, and this much will be met by the local tax base. They gave a small relief there, but it didn't increase the amount that the district receives. The district has been receiving that same amount. So for the last 6 years, the district has received only an increase twice. And so again, I ask the taxpayers here, how many times have you seen groceries rise, gas prices rise, things rise for you in your budget, right? I see the same thing from the school district standpoint. We have our budget costs rise all the time. Whether it's the cost of buying salt from you, the city, that we use on our streets to keep our community safe, we're gonna probably see a rise in that because you're seeing a rise in that. And yet, where does that come from in our budget? We've tried very hard to be fiscally responsible. We had our staff switch from a PPO health insurance plan to an HMO health insurance plan. That saved the district $2 million by just doing that. We've reduced our amount of dependency on transportation from Dousman. We've saved $200,000 in the last few years on that by just reducing. Yes, the bus runs might get another 5 minutes longer, but in the end, we have to look at it to say we need full buses running as much as possible to do these turnaround routes. So we've tried to squeeze as much as we can to be able to put as much towards education, but our amounts have not changed. We are still getting that $10,026.51 from the state per pupil, $26.51 over the minimum amount. Right? That's ridiculous, right? And it's hard. The reason it's so hard for the district also to say that is because 25% of our students are English second language. That's part of our community. We need to embrace that. We also have 17% special ed. And the state only funds 40% of special ed costs. We also have 70% of our students are have socioeconomic challenges. They're free and reduced status for lunch. And so that again adds to more challenges to educate them because it takes more services because these kids come from bookless homes or families that aren't there at an evening. And so you need reading specialists, math specialists to provide services to them. And all of that comes at a real cost. So what's your question?
I was just gonna say, thanks for the update, but also I understand you had an informational meeting last night. You've got a couple of, we know when the meetings are, but maybe you want to publicly announce.
Thank you.
those other meetings.
Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, so there is a meeting on October 25th at 6:30 at Darien Elementary. It's more of a Q&A, so it's similar to this. We don't present anything, we answer questions for the community. And then on October 27th, so that's next Thursday, at Phoenix Middle School again. So we're there, we want to answer questions. If anyone wants to do a neighborhood calling, get together in your garage and have us come out and talk, I will be happy to share about our why to anybody in the community. Okay, thank you for wearing your button. I appreciate it, and I appreciate the support for the school district.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll move on to item number 7, then issues that came before the planning commission. 7.1 is consider a rezoning petition for the property at 910 East Geneva Street, tax parcels XAS 41 and XAS 51, the former Luther Memorial Church, from institutional to business local, zoning district applicant Ryan Delavan.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed ordinance approving the request to amend the zoning map from the institutional high zoning district to the business local BL zoning district for the property located at 910 East Geneva Street, subject to the zoning map amendments findings recommended by staff and per the requirements of the zoning ordinance in section 94.903 subsection 4 C.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing here none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 7.2 is consider a conditional use petition for the property at 910 East Geneva Street, tax parcels XAS 41 and XAS 51, the former Luther Memorial Church to allow for an indoor commercial entertainment land use. Once again, the applicant Ryan Delavan.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed resolution, including one, the conditional use findings listed in the report, and two, the conditional use request for major indoor commercial entertainment and minor outdoor commercial entertainment located at 910 East Geneva Street in the business local BL zoning district, subject to the findings and conditions of approval listed in the report.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 7.3 is consider a conditional use petition for the property at 213 South Second Street, tax parcel XOP 184, the Delavan United Methodist Church, to allow for an institutional residential land use and a group development land use. Applicant Delavan United Methodist Church.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the proposed resolution, including the conditional use findings listed in the report and the conditional use request for a group development and a new institutional residential land use located at 213 South Second Street in the institutional zoning district, subject to the findings and conditions of approval listed in the report.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
They've been using this for many, many years, and it's time to give them a chance. And I was baptized at that church. I was confirmed at that church, and now I want to see this happen and give them a shot. So,
Any other discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all there is a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 8, issues that came before the Finance Committee. 8.1 is consider a request from Toronto Builders for an adjustment to the parkland impact fee payments for the Falcon Ridge development on Fair Avenue.
I make a motion for the full reduction in the required park impact fee payments to the city for the Falcon Ridge development in exchange for the developer paving the public parking lot and driveway within Delavan Fest Park, along with constructing the fenced dog park as part of their Falcon Ridge development, with Falcon Ridge Apartments being fully responsible for all these improvements, even if their construction costs exceed $283,400.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing, and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 8.2 is consider the purchase of one 2023 Ford F-350 with a Western plow and lift gate, and further declare the 2005 pickup as surplus.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the purchase of one Ford F-350 with Western plow and lift gate from Evolve Auto at the cost of $46,580, and approve accessory purchase from, and I'm probably gonna mess up this name, Nap Feed at a cost of $15,253, and move to approve the proposed resolution declaring our 2005 F-350 as surplus upon receipt of the replacement vehicle.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to say something.
Yes.
So both bids were received after the finance committee meeting. I also just want to note that we are ordering 5 trucks, pickup trucks, between the two, or between Ewald and Cunis Ford. And I just want to make a note that if you count up all 5 trucks and the total price between the two, Cunis is lower by $3,102 across the 5 trucks, and it would be staff's recommendation to purchase the trucks all from one dealership.
For additional information. Was that in there? I suppose, I mean, we'll take up each individual issue, but
I have a question. When did the bids come in? Were the bids in at the same time? How did this happen with multiple vendors showing up on?
So for finance committee, Ewald holds the state contract for pickup truck sales. At the time, they had an estimated pricing for the pickup trucks, but it was not a guaranteed price. So I asked Ewald to try and get us the guaranteed price by our council meeting, so that way I was able to come forward in front of the council. I also asked Hiller Ford and Cunis Ford for pricing, and I was able to receive both of those pricings. So I received one set of prices Thursday or Friday morning, and the other set on Friday afternoon. So it was kind of a delayed process because we were given short notice on the order pool for the trucks for 2023.
And you all came in with this pricing, or did they match? Was there anything? Because I know that we have to adhere to low bid.
So Ewald does not have guaranteed pricing for 22. Neither dealership has guaranteed pricing for 2023 from Ford, the manufacturer. So if on the bottom of Ewald's quote, they actually added a 2% contingency for the, or not contingency, but a 2% addition, or a $2,000 addition to the trucks, just because they're not guaranteed, or they're not comfortable with the pricing that they gave us. So each truck has a $2,000 addition on it from Ewald, and then the Cunis's pricing is just what you see on there is how it was sent to me per the bid spec, and they're the same bid spec between the two dealerships.
just so it's clear, it wasn't a match, it actually overall, all 5 vehicles, there would be a savings of what was that number?
$3,102 between the 5 trucks.
I say we have all from Cunis.
Any other questions or discussion?
So just to be clear on the motion, if we decided not to approve this, then we could make the motion to accept it from a different vendor. Is that correct?
Correct. Right.
Motion as it stands right now is to make the purchase from you all.
Also good amend the motion if the person is willing to, or do you want to take this motion up?
They could take, I would suggest take it up, and however you choose to vote, if you would choose to vote it down, then it could be revisited with the motion to purchase from Cunis Auto. Excuse me.
Everyone clear on the motion as it was stated?
Do we have a specific amount from Cunis then on this cost?
Are you asking if the number in the memo is the correct number for the purchase price from Cunis?
Well, because I have a purchase price from Ewald, but I don't see a purchase price from Cunis.
It's up for 46.
Yeah, 46,678. Is it not?
46.
Yeah, 46.
Yeah,
6, 7.
yeah, it's further up in the memo, sorry.
Okay, thank you.
Would you, as the person that made the.
I thought we had to vote it down.
And
Or
we
vote.
could, as
Either
long
way.
as everyone's clear on the motion.
Yeah.
This could be voted.
Mhm.
So with that, then, as the motion was stated, can maybe have a roll call.
Alderwoman Deshner Brandt.
No,
Alderman Baten.
No.
Alderman Wilson.
No.
Alderman Beezer.
No.
Alderman Solis.
No,
That motion does not pass. We're still on 8.2. different motion.
Sure, I would like to make a motion to approve the purchase of one Ford F-350 with a Western plow and lift gate from Cunis Auto at a cost of $46,678. An accessory purchase from Napfeed at a cost of $15,253. And move to approve the proposed resolution declaring our 2005 F-350 as surplus upon receipt of the replacement vehicle.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. May we have a roll call?
Alderman Bates,
Aye, or yes.
Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
Alderman Beezer,
Yes.
Alderman Solis,
Yes,
Alderwoman Deshner Brand.
Yes,
That motion passes. Item 8.3 is considered the purchase of one 2023 Ford F-350 and one Ford F-250 Parks Department trucks and further declare the 2005-2006 trucks as surplus.
I would make a motion to approve the purchase of one 2023 Ford F-250 from Cunis Ford at a cost of $43,331. One 2023 Ford F-350 from Cunis. And I don't know the cost on that one.
45,216.
45,216, and approve the purchase of accessory equipment from Napfeed at a cost of $8,092, and move to approve the proposed resolution declaring the 2006 and 2005 trucks as surplus upon receipt of the replacement vehicles.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, may we have a roll call?
Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
Alderman Beezer,
Yes.
Alderman Solis,
yes,
Alderwoman Deshner Brand,
Yes,
Alderman Baten.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 8.4 is consider the purchase of two 2023 Ford F-250 water utility trucks and further declare the 2007 and 2008 pickups as surplus.
I would make a motion to approve the purchase of one 2023 Ford F-250 meter truck from Cunis Ford at a cost of $40,780, and one 2023 F-250 plow truck from Cunis at a cost of
Cost of 45,967.
$45,967. Approve the purchase of accessory equipment from Napseed at a cost of $28,132, and move to approve the resolution declaring the 2007 and 2008 pickups as surplus upon receipt of the replacement vehicles.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, may we have a roll call?
Alderman Beezer,
Yes.
Alderman Solis,
yes,
Alderwoman Deshner Brand.
Yes,
Alderman Baten.
Yes.
Alderman Wilson.
Yes.
Motion passes. Item 8.5 is consider cost share agreement with the DOT for pavement improvements to Highway 11 from Turtle Creek Drive to Main Street and 4th Street to Mountain Road, scheduled for 2026 and 2027.
I'd make a motion to approve the proposed SMFA with the Wisconsin DOT for the pavement improvements on Highway 11 from Turtle Creek Drive to Main Street and 4th Street to Mountain Road.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 8.6 is approval of the bids warrant 2022-09.
I'd make a motion to approve warrant 2022-09.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 9 are issues that came before the General Operations Committee. 9.1 is consider approval of a temporary Class B retailer's license for St. Andrews congregation to sell beer at 714 East Walnut Avenue for a trivia night on October 28th.
I move to approve the application from St. Andrew's Congregation for temporary Class B retailer license to allow the sale of fermented malt beverages at their tribute night at 714 East Walworth Avenue on October 28th, 2022.
There's a motion, and is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 9.2 is consider approval of a temporary retailer's license for the Delavan Dairy and Rotary to sell beer at the Brew Walk and wine for the Wine Walk at participating downtown locations on this Saturday, October 22nd, 2022, and November 19th, 2022.
I move to approve the application from Rotary for a temporary Class B retailer license to allow the sale of fermented malt beverages at participating downtown locations for the Brew Walk on October 22nd, 2022, and for a temporary Class B retailer license to allow the sale of wine at participating downtown locations for the Wine Walk on November 19th, 2022.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item 9.3 is consider a resolution amending fees for road opening permits and street privilege permits.
I move to adopt a resolution amending the fee schedule to include the following increased fees. Permit for a new driveway from $5 to $100. Replacement driveway approach from $5 to $25. Utility permits in the public right of way, but not in pavement, from $10 to $100. Utility permits within pavement areas from $25 to $200. Roadway closure requests are allowed once per year at no cost, but each subsequent request increase from $10 to $300 per event per actual cost.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
I guess my only question would be, I'm sure this was probably brought up at your meeting discussing this, but are these pretty standard with the areas around us for fees? Have we been behind and that's why there's a large increase, or?
We have not raised our fees in a long time. So yes, this would be consistent with area communities.
Back to the 60s, if I recall correctly.
At least.
Yeah.
And it is consistent with like Lake Geneva and Elkhorn.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Not, there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 10, our other business. 10.1 is consider resolution adopting changes to the functional classification to area main roadways.
I make a motion to adopt the resolution accepting the proposed functional classification changes to area main roadways as listed on the attached Delavan Dairy and table.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 10.2 is consider authorizing fire department control burn. On your agenda report.
So move.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing, hearing none, all those in favor of the motion signify by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Item number 11, are public comments. Again, I would just ask the citizens who wish to address the chair at this point in the meeting, please limit your comments to minutes. Comments. Then we will move on to item number 12, which is suggested future agenda items. Future agenda items at this time. If not, as I often announce, if there are any issues that come up that council wishes to talk about in the future, please let myself know, or the city clerk and city administrator. Those are on for review. If there's no, item number 13 would be recess to close session. That is not necessary. Got an update on that. So there's no 14 would be to reconvene the open session, but we're not convening the closed session, so there would be no further business. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
There's a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye.
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 Thanks, everyone.